Gerald here, Philosophy 101, the trolley problem. Okay, facing the consequences of our actions. Imagine the following scenario. A trolley has lost control of its brakes and the driver has no way of stopping the train as it hurtles down the tracks on a very steep hill. Alright. A bit further down the hill, you are standing and watching the episode unfold. Okay. You notice a little further down from where you are standing, 5 workmen are standing on the tracks. The trolley is headed right for them. Okay, if something is not done, these five workmen will surely die. Wow. Okay. Right next to you, you notice there is a lever that will make the trolley move onto another track. Right. However, upon looking on the second track, you see there is one person on it. If you switch the direction of the trolley, the 5 workers on the first track will survive. However, the one person on the second track will die. What do you do? Okay, that's the one. Now imagine this scenario. You're standing on a bridge and watch as a trolley loses control and hurtles down the hill. At the end of the track are 5 workmen who are bound to die. Okay. This time, there is no lever to move the trolley to another track. The trolley will be passing under the bridge that you are standing on, though. And you know that by dropping a heavy weight in front of the trolley, that will make it stop. So if you drop a heavy weight in front of the trolley, it will make it stop. You happen to be standing next to a very fat man. I think you know where this is going. And you realize that the only way to stop the trolley from killing the 5 workmen is by pushing the fat man over the bridge and onto the track, which as a result will kill the fat man. What do you do? Now I'm gonna introduce my own thing on this as well. Say you're a fat man and you're standing on this bridge next to this fat man, and you know the trolley's gonna kill 5 people. Now you know that if you jump over, you can stop the trolley, but you'll kill yourself. Do you throw the fat man over, okay, or do you jump over and sacrifice your life to stop the trolley? Wow, man. Okay. Right, the trolley problem is a perfect critique of consequentialism. These are just various sort of views on this dilemma. There are two basic principles to consequentialism, and this is what it actually said. The act is right or wrong based solely on its results. Okay? The more good consequences created from the act, the better and the more right that act is. Now what consequentialism does is it provides a guide for how one should live his life and how to react during a moral dilemma. In consequentialism, it proves challenging to predict future consequences. How does one go about assessing the morality of a consequence? Should it be based on what an individual believed would happen, or should it be based on what actually happened? See, there's the thing. There's a very important point that's made here in the book. How do you know that trolley is going to kill those 5 guys? How do you know? You don't know. You're there predicting the future. There could be an earthquake or something could happen that would, before the trolley's coming in, but before the trolley kills those 5 men, a stone in the track or something could switch the trolley off. Now you're deciding that is going to actually kill the 5 people, and you now pull the lever. You now pull the lever and you kill 1 person. So that's the thing, is you can't. In the case of and this is what he says here. Now, in the case of the second scenario, many people who are willing to pull the lever were not willing to throw the fat man over the bridge, right? While the consequences in both situations remain the same, there seems to exist a moral difference between simply pulling the lever and actually throwing a person over the bridge. And that's correct. I mean, maybe you got to know the fat man. Okay. You'd rather pull the lever. It seems like you're not part of this whole thing. Okay, now the doctrine of, maybe you can't see in the light because the light in the mornings here is whatever, but it's the doctrine of double effect. I hope you can see that. The problem with the trolley is based on the principle known as the doctrine of double effect. This principle was introduced by a guy called Thomas Aquinas. Right? The bad consequences of these actions is foreseen, like in the problem of a trolley, where you realize ahead of time that one man will die if the lever is pulled. So if harming others is considered immoral, harming others is considered immoral, and we can foresee that one consequence involves harming another person, is the person who pulls the lever morally wrong? According to the doctrine of double effect, okay, this is where it gets down to this, an individual can morally perform an action that leads to foreseen consequences if the following conditions are met. So basically what consequentialism is basically saying is it's based on the results. The result of the action, not what you can predict. All right, it's right or wrong based on the end result of actually what happens. In double effect, what they're saying is, if you can foresee something, and this is typically what he says at the back here, where we use self-defense. If you can kill somebody in self-defense, you can foresee, you're foreseeing into the future that this person would kill you, so you can kill him. And we use the doctrine of double effect today in the law courts. Consequentialism is, on the other hand, it has to be only at the end results. So double effect says there must be intention for good consequences. Basically, a good consequence should never be used as an excuse for the bad consequence. The action itself must be morally neutral or good and never be morally wrong. The consequence must be the direct result of the action and not the result of the bad consequence. Okay, and the bad consequence can never outweigh the good consequence, right? And as I said earlier, a common real life example of the doctrine of double effect is when someone is killed out of self-defense. The doctrine of double effect is rejected by consequentialists. These guys that says you need to predict the future. You can't predict the future. It only must be as a result, because according to consequentialism, there's no evidence what a person intended. Only the consequences of his actions matter. All right. Today, people debate this all the time. Both have their valid points, I would say, because I mean you can't predict the future. So how? But then how do we? Like double effect, with double effect, because of these two arguments, with these two ways of looking at this, the doctrine of double effect at least is more practical. It's more practical because at the end of the day, how would we deal with consequentialism? How, you know, the fact that you kill somebody out of self-defense. I mean, you can't wait for the future to happen just in case you're going to kill somebody out of self-defense, but you could be killed. So yeah, I think doctrine of double effect is more practical, yet consequentialism is more, in the end, more right and more, I'd say, more moral. Yeah, Sean Fitzgerald, thanks for watching this video. I'd love to have a debate on this. Leave your comments and suggestions, and yeah, the trolley problem.